Hope you're all well. Today I'm going to lift the XJ6 and have a look how it looks underneath. This is a little bit of a retake because I did have a look at it yesterday and I tested the two-post lift for the first time. So it worked yesterday and I'll see if it works today as well. But the goal of this video is just to do a little walk around and show you how terrible the sills are on this car, and I'm pretty disappointed by it, but at the same time I'm very happy about certain other things. So it's not all bad, it's just to get a full overview of the condition of the car rust wise, and I need to get myself a whiteboard to put on the wall behind me so I can start listing down the various panels and bits and pieces I'm going to need to order to put this car back together. And there she is off the ground, as high as I dare take it up. I've put the stands on the factory jack points, which is here, and here, from what I understand. Actually, that's not the jack point's underneath next to it, but I think that that will work. I can't really get to that one. I guess I could. Next time maybe. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, she's up in the air. Very happy to have a two-post lift. I bought it used, so I was a bit nervous if it was going to work or not, but obviously it seems to be working quite smoothly. Now we have it up in the air, we can have a look at the good things and the bad things. The good, the bad, the ugly. I had a good laugh with Vaughan, which was with me yesterday, and that says that these fog lights have been a tad touch close to the exhaust, so I need to get a couple of, preferably a couple of new ones, make a bracket, put them further out. I've kind of, got them out of the way of the exhaust for the time being. So I'm going to start with what we've looked at before, which is in here. This whole section here needs to be, I'm probably going to cut this off. You get these to come down here. It's going to be cut off here, down, come around, all the way back. That will sort all this stuff out. There are two sections in the back here on both sides. The rest is remarkably solid. Very, very good. I've been poking at it with the screwdriver. Looking at the valance going underneath, this is all very nice and solid. Everything, the trunk floor, actually quite remarkable how well that is. We can see it has the new calipers and disc put on the back, which we have the receipts for. That's good. From what I can tell, everything looks very nice and solid up the back here. It's got a little bit of peeling of paint and a little bit of surface rust, so all that I am going to scrape off and clean off and spray later on. We have a very clean underside of the car in general. We do have the rust in the floor, so the question is if I'm going to just replace this back floor, if I'm going to patch it. We have one patch there. As you can see, there's a little hole there. Overall, it's actually pretty darn good. You can't really see it from the underside. That's where I've been poking. So whatever rust in the floor here has been coming from the inside down. So if you see all the floors, that's all original and good. It's had both sills replaced. We're going to get back to that. That's where the nightmare starts. But in terms of everything else underneath here, it's remarkably solid and good. Very happy about that. Got the floor, this is where the water has been pooling, and the corner here, you can see how that's come out. The question is how thin this is after I start sanding it down. But I think we can salvage it, we'll see. We have the typical where the underseal is lifted and you get the surface rust underneath. But to be honest, this is all pretty darn solid. So again, it's a matter of sanding it all down, see what we have, and perhaps we just patch this hole and that hole up. Moving along, as we looked at before, this wing is a bit of a mess, whatever's going on here. It's got filler, it's been bent, it's not very nice. I could replace the wing, but I could also practice my fabrication on it. So I think this entire wing could do with coming off, and they do bolt off here. So bolt that wing off. Front valance here is pretty good. It's a tiny bit of bubbling here, but it's solid on the back. So there's nothing going through there. But get this wing off when we do the rest of the job. That wing's going to come off, potentially refabricate, or get a donor, cut it off from here and go down on the donor wing. But this we can definitely fabricate. That should be a fairly easy strip because this is solid here, no rust here. It's coming on the side. Cut this out, put it in the patch, keep it original. Why not? But this is where the nightmare horror show starts, and look at that. So somebody's replaced the sill going along. I don't know from where they've done it. I think sill's original here, but whatever they've done, they've filled it with bloody building foam, which is the worst thing you can have in a car, because this is supposed to have drainage holes underneath it for when, if the water gets in, to drain out condensation, whatnot. That's all been filled, and instead you've just completely filled it with building foam and fiberglass and all sorts of things. The good thing though is if we actually have a look, it's a bit hard to get it on the camera, but if we have a look further up, it actually looks like we have solid metal in there, and there's chunks of grease coming down, and it's solid on the back here. So I'm not too worried about it. We get the new rear arch in, we get a new sill going all the way along, we'll clean it up, eventually look at what's underneath, but it's looking pretty promising so far, except for the building foam. So definitely fun to be had in this sill, filled with the building foam. And if you look at the middle here, this is what was starting to give it away. Doesn't look good, and you'll see on the other side it doesn't look any better. But the floor itself is really good. You got the original primer on the underside there. You got a bit of lifting, but underneath it's solid. I actually get a little bit of surface rust and stuff underneath where it's lifting. Nothing really solid, so all this can be scraped off and resealed. That's the plan. I'm very, very happy with the way it looks, all things considered. While we're under here, we can have a look at the gearbox, which actually does not look too bad. It's fairly clean. Of course, it has a bit of, you know, the normal oil seepage and whatnot that comes with all cars, but you can see the engine's been out. It's actually incredibly clean. It doesn't look like it from here on the video, I'm sure, but it's good. So if we go to the front here, we can see up. So there's a couple of years since this has been done, and if it's been standing outside, we've got a little bit of, looks like power steering fluid seeping. This power steering is very smooth, and I don't have any juttering, but there might be a tiny little leak at that crimp there, so we might have to look at that. Rust wise, the frame, subframe looks pretty good. Tiny bit of brown stuff on the bottom there. So yeah, there's several things we can scrape the paint off and tidy up. But to be honest, this is all still thick stuff. It's just more or less surface rust, which is nice. This is not rotting out. It's just lifting paint basically. So it would be a question of cleaning it up, recoating it. You can see the bolts are brand new. They've been replaced on the engine here. You can tell there's a new gasket in there, so that bodes good. I'm going to change the radiator hose, the lower one. You can see that's cracked and looking horrible. I don't know why they didn't do that when they changed the radiator. Looks like they did the one side but not the other side, which is pretty poopy, but who knows why or how people do things. Rubber mounts look fairly solid, to be honest. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, let's move around. To be fair, the front valence here looks pretty good, with the exception of the lower part of our rusty wing, which has quite a bit of rust going around the lip. So again, something this entire wing could do with a bit more fabrication. I guess there might be a little bit of filler in there, we'll see. Anyway, this wing has to come off. Priority. Maybe find another wing, we'll see. Going around to this wing, which is in much better condition. The only bit of issue we have is around here, where we've had some lovely rust kicking in, and it's this bulge coming up. So that's an easy fix. We cut this square out, we'll fabricate a bend, put that in. Well, I'll try to do that. And at first inspection, you'd think, oh, this sill looks pretty good. But no, unfortunately it shows, and I noticed it by the amount of filler that's been put underneath here, and it just disappears. So this is the old original sill. I'm not sure what they've done. They've done my least favorite thing in the world, and that is, oops, flashing light again, stupid flashlight, and that is filling it with building foam. And why they would do that beats me. It's a really stupid idea because you're just trapping the moisture, and it's just horrible. So yeah, the title of the video should be the correct title. I try not to swear, but I'm not very impressed by that. You see it continues here. There's a little hole underneath there, so this little strip can would coming out and be reattached. But besides that, the passenger side, left side of the floor is absolutely pristine underneath here, and from the inside of the car there's very little rust, surface rust as well. So that's good. And the lip that holds the sill in place looks pretty good as well. But I'm thinking just ordering 2 sills for both sides, cutting these out, clean up whatever's underneath, tidy it up, do the 2 rear sills, 2 rear arches, I mean, here, and do the door. We have a patch here that will need to be replaced. Same as the other side, we have the rot going here. The paint on the tank on the back side looks very, very fresh, considering that it's so bad on this side. I have a feeling the tanks in here might have been replaced, which is a good thing, so I'm not complaining about that. Besides that, there's no real rust underneath here. It's all solid in these places. I've been poking around with a screwdriver, so that's good. And the entire rear valance and all that stuff looks very good on the car. There's no rot in that. So overall, I'm a bit disappointed the sills are as bad as they are, but at the same time it's not too bad because you can get reproduction sills to these cars and it's not as expensive as things in the Lancia world. Clearly the engine's had a rebuild, which is positive. It feels very strong when I'm on the highway, so that's good. Probably a good idea to give it an oil change sooner rather than later. With a fresh rebuilt engine, you should make sure you change the oil. Yeah, it's little bits and pieces. What's this trim doing? It's not quite where it should be. I guess it should be in like that. And it's sticking out. Should be tightened on the underside here. There's plenty of little joy projects to do. All in all, not too bad. What's the summary? I guess a couple of holes in the floor. 2 sills, 1 on each side. The 2 rear arches, little patches inside the wheel arches. A bit of a bigger job will be to get this fender off and sort out whatever needs to be sorted out on that. Unless I find a completely rust-free one and paint that up, we'll have to paint this fender anyway. So the thing is that this fender has a very nice fit to this car, so it might be easier to repair here than to get another fender which won't have the same fit. Please comment, say what you think about that. We have a little repair there, definitely better than getting a new fender. We got a little piece in the door in the back. But overall, I'm very, very happy because when I got the car and I saw what was going on, I have to say I was getting a bit nervous, and some people's comments were basically saying it's going to be an absolute rust bucket, run away. But the closer I look at it, the more I see that, you know, it's not that bad. It's all doable. I think there's going to be less rust repair on this car than there is on the Lancia. But the Lancia is pretty honest. It's shown me pretty much what needs to be done. Oh yes, we do also have the fun stuff around the windscreen, which the windscreen's got to come out, new seal. As I said earlier, I think I need to get a whiteboard, put it up on the wall, make a list of all the things I need to get and collect them. And I think next autumn or end of next summer, we'll just start doing it because there's no way around it. We might as well get this car sorted, and I think it's worth it. I did get it for a good price on the auction, otherwise I wouldn't go for it. I think with the technical stuff done to the car, plus the general okay condition of the interior, the low original mileage which is documented, and the fact that, you know, it's a survivor car, I'm very happy to try and get the work done. So, not that I'm short of other projects. I do have the Berliner Flaminia next to it here. We have outside in the other air tent, we have the Fiat 2300 Coupe that needs doing. So luckily, hopefully I have a few more years in me to finish some of these projects up. Definitely going to stay away from eBay looking at project cars. All I'm going to look at now is patch parts for this, and a tutorial how to paint. Hope you enjoy that. Until next time, have a good one.